You ever wake up one day and realize the rules you've been living by your whole life just don't apply anymore? That's how it started for me. 1 hour into a supply run, the Nevada sun baking my forearms, the back of my old truck loaded down with enough fence wire and lumber to patch every busted post on my land. I was actually looking forward to the work nobody to answer to, just the road I built myself, winding through 9 dry miles of brush and gravel that I've cared for longer than some folks have been alive. My road, not a county road, not a public highway, mine. So you'll understand why when I rounded that last familiar bend and damn near ate my steering wheel slamming the brakes, I felt something snap in my chest. There it was, some shiny aluminum gate. Red and white striped armed prefab security booth squatting on fresh concrete that hadn't been there at sunset yesterday. And right next to it, a rent-a-cop in a gray uniform, arms folded, sunglasses so dark I could see my own ticked-off reflection. Hip holster on display like he was about to break up a prison riot. I eased up, window down halfway. "You planning on moving that gate?" No response, just a bony finger pointing to a sign. "Private community access. HOA members only. No unauthorized entry." I just stared. I built this road with my own damn hands, and now some HOA clown wants a password. "This is my road," I said, keeping it flat, watching his hand float a little too close to his holster. He didn't blink. "Silver Ridge Estates now manages this section under a municipal maintenance contract. I need to see your access permit." "Permit?" I nearly laughed out loud. "Buddy, I was dropping gravel here before your HOA was a bullet point in some real estate seminar." But his hand hovered and my spine took note. Old reflexes never die. So I did what any sane landowner does these days. I got out slow tablet in hand, my property docs ready to go. "Here's the Clark County cadastral map. See that line? That's my road straight through my parcel, taxed and maintained by yours truly. Unless you got a federal warrant, I suggest you move that gate." His voice went low. "You can't go through. Orders from the HOA board." That was his mistake, reaching for the holster snap. I don't even remember moving, but suddenly I had his wrist spun him. Dropped my weight, he hit the dirt with a thud and all the air left his lungs. Next thing I know, he's wheezing, trying to radio for backup. Me, I'm snapping photos, the sign, the booth, him sprawled out eating dust. Didn't say a word. Just got back in the truck, backed up, and cut around his little fortress on a strip of brush. My tablet sat glowing in the seat, my name clear as day on every parcel. When I rolled into my driveway, my hands were steady, but I'll admit my heart was thumping like a bass drum. Parked by the barn, called the sheriff. No answer. Left a message. Then called Nolan Burns, my land attorney in Reno. "Tell me you're sitting down." He was. He didn't like what I told him. That night I set up cameras on the road, backed up every land deed till the clouds started drafting a cease and desist. I figured, hell, maybe I could head this off. Thought wrong. Next morning, barely light, my phone rings, unknown number. "Mr. Briggs, this is Deputy Holler with the Clark County Sheriff's Department. There's been a report of assault involving a private security officer." I almost choked on my coffee. Assault, I didn't even throw a punch. But I know how this goes, better play it by the book. Didn't even finish breakfast before 2 cruisers rolled up my drive. 2 deputies, mirrored sunglasses, tight postures, were investigating battery against a contracted security officer under a county service agreement. I almost laughed. "Contracted by who? Silver Ridge Estates, HOA," he says, like that means something sacred. "Under municipal maintenance oversight." That got me. "You're telling me not to drive to my own house? It's under temporary administrative review. For your safety, avoid further contact." "Their personnel," he said. That phrase burned itself into my memory. After they left, I called Nolan. "HOA filed a complaint. Cops are siding with them. County's reviewing my road." He grumbled. "They must have filed a maintenance annexation. If they convince the county your road's abandoned, they can claim oversight unless you can prove otherwise." Prove otherwise, I had receipts, drone footage, tax records, a whole damn scrapbook of me filling potholes after every monsoon. Sent everything to Nolan that morning. By lunch, he calls brace yourself. The HOA filed last month claiming your road's been unused and degraded for 5 years. The county signed off temporarily. That word again. Temporarily. We both knew what it meant, legal theater. Don't engage, he says, just document. Easy for him to say. That afternoon, an HOA pickup crawls past my fence, 2 goons filming from inside trying to catch me being volatile. Classic. I walked out coffee in hand, smiled right into their phone. Private property. You're trespassing under Nevada Statute 407-6. Raised my mug and salute. They sped off. That night, 2 more cameras went up. I started planning, gathering every piece of evidence, mapping every twist and turn, every line on every plat. The desert was quiet, but I knew the real storm hadn't even started. 3 days later, I'm sitting under migraine bright lights at the county records office, flipping musty folders. The clerk stiffens when I ask about Silver Ridge Estates. Can't comment on ongoing decisions. Fine. Just the facts, ma'am. What I find makes me sick. The HOA's petition says my road is abandoned, unsafe. Worse, their map redraws my parcels, cuts me out completely. And right there, a county seal, too clean, too perfect. I called Nolan, drove straight to his office. We compared their map with my deed. The fraud was obvious, lot lines shifted just enough to make it seem public. Then Nolan finds the signature, Edward Mallory, Assistant Director, and former business partner of Karen Daly, HOA President. I'd heard her name before, some neighbor griping about a Karen with a clipboard. Should have listened. Nolan says, we need federal leverage BLM oversight, Homestead Continuity Act. Turns out the road's protected as an old supply route. The servitude's still valid, and I'm the beneficiary. Nolan preps an emergency challenge. I call my old buddy Luis, a drone expert. Need every inch of my land map now. Next morning, Luis's drones are up filming everything, including fresh tire marks from the HOA trespassing again. By afternoon, Nolan fires off a cease and desist and injunction request. I hang a drone photo above my desk blockhouse smack in the middle of my deeded land. Then I wait, not passively, but ready like laying an ambush. A week later, a certified letter arrives, Silver Ridge Estates versus Briggs Clark County Civil Court. They want damages for assault property damage and my favorite, unauthorized access to a secured community zone. $75,000 for emotional trauma. I call Nolan. They filed, he says. Their lawyer's a bulldog. Karen Daly's got political ambitions, and it's all personal now. Next day, some slick guy at the feed store claims he's a podcaster, asks about rage issues and my time overseas. Smells like a setup. I smile, play dumb, then run his plates. He's a Phoenix PI hired by SR Legal Counsel. The HOA sent a spy hoping I'd slip up. Nolan's response: if they try this in court, we counter with invasion of privacy. I ask, what about going public? Careful, he says, don't look unhinged. I just want to look like a man standing his ground. Then Karen Daly sends a settlement offer. Legalese, pure condescension, mutual use agreement, but I'd be ceding admin control and letting them set up checkpoints. I called Nolan. He almost laughed. Sign that and you're finished. We countered, declined, warned them any further move was trespass. After that, I doubled down, more drone scans, more cameras, started collecting testimonies from old ranchers. Let them dig trenches in court. I was building a fortress of facts. Court day arrives. Small wood-paneled room, fluorescent lights, air thick with the smell of stress. Karen Daly's dressed for church. Her lawyer launches into volatile veteran stories, brings up drone footage, claims my repairs were illegal. They even flash a county authorization with a signature. But Nolan's ready, produces the real deed, the BLM servitude, and a notarized affidavit from Edward Mallory himself on the date in question. The guy was on vacation in Alaska. Their document, fake seal, fake signature. The courtroom goes dead quiet. The judge calls a recess, orders an investigation. The HOA can't enforce anything. The blockhouse has to come down. I walk past Karen. She tries to hold her head high, but her jaw twitches. Outside, Nolan hands me an envelope, an anonymous leak from inside the HOA, their whole playbook. Fake abandonment, control the road, jack up dues, resell security rights. All with Karen's signature. A week later, that fake checkpoint gets hauled away, gate gone, sign yanked down. But I'm not done. I build my own checkpoint not to block anyone, but to ask questions. Cameras, mics, live stream. Freedom Road checkpoint. Every car that passes, I ask, do you know the HOA forged county docks? Do you think they should seize private roads? Some stop, some speed up. One old-timer thanks me, says, thought. Karen had a spine, turns out it was plastic. He drives off. We edit the footage, post a doc called Checkpoints and Lies, and it blows up online. The narrative flips. The county starts an audit. Karen's name comes up in other land deals. The HOA board fractures resignations, angry letters, chaos. One night another unmarked car creeps by. This time I just record. No more cowboy moves. This fight's almost over. Nolan calls. The judge is forwarding the forgery to the state attorney. This is now criminal. A couple weeks later, Karen Daly gets cuffed in her driveway. News crews everywhere. Charges forgery, fraud, attempted unlawful seizure. The fake security guy cuts a deal, admits he was never licensed. And Edward Mallory. Turns out he'd pulled this before. He gets 18 months in state prison. Silver Ridge Estates, HOA dissolves. County audits show illegal lobbying, unpaid taxes. The folks who claimed my road couldn't pay their own bills. Most of the residents, decent people, come by, cap in hand, apologizing. I nod. Now you know. 3 months later, the judge rules my road my land restitution from the county. $330,000. Not that it's about the money. I build a new entry gate, put up a steel sign, private road, no access. Then I launch a website, back off my land. All my documents, drone shots, templates for fighting HOAs. Thought maybe a handful would care. 14,000 join in a month. Ranchers, families, lawyers, all with the same story. Someone in power thought the little guy wouldn't fight back. But we do. When Karen went to sentencing, I watched the sunset over my road, poured a bourbon, and thought this isn't just gravel. It's proof that standing your ground still means something. Now tell me, what would you have done in my boots? Ever had someone try to take what's yours and get away with it? Drop your story in the comments. Hit subscribe if you think the little guy should never back down, and let's hear your take. Where's the line between order and overreach?